Hey guys, welcome back to the BuzWeaver channel. And in our top stories today from the Washington Examiner, out of touch media ignore top 10 voting issues to push climate, LGBT, January 6th agenda. And as we said, these were things that we had prepared for the midterms that we were talking about were going to happen. And of course, yesterday, we heard all about Biden talking about his Inflation Reduction Act, which, incidentally, does not actually reduce inflation. You can check out my latest short there from CBS News outlining the fact that it doesn't do anything whatsoever to help with inflation. None of the top 10 areas voters are concerned about heading into the midterm elections are on the list of the top 5 that the legacy media care about, further dividing the press and their consumers. In its latest review of the most pressing concerns voters are focused on versus those of the media are giving full-time coverage to, Rasmussen reports, found that there is little overlap. In a survey update of a similar poll done midsummer, the outfit said voters are most concerned about crime, gas prices, inflation, and election integrity, or what most people would call common sense kitchen table issues, which affects everyone. So the distinction here, of course, is when President Trump was in office, the media, the establishment, and others, Trump detractors, were always focused on the superficial things, the rumor mill, the tabloid things, instead of focusing on what Trump was actually accomplishing. But here, you see, everyday people can feel what's going on with Joe Biden versus Trump. So they had the luxury, or people in the country had the luxury of the benefits of President Trump, and thus they had to talk about tabloid issues, versus now with Joe Biden, you're actually feeling the effects of poor management and or political malpractice by Democrats. But in its review of news coverage, the top areas the media care about are climate change, the fallout of the January 6th Capitol riots, and the war in Ukraine. Now, I can understand elements to the war in Ukraine. Unfortunately, we're not going to get a lot of information about activity that went on with Joe Biden and Hunter Biden concerning Ukraine. But by all means, I do believe and support Ukraine in their cause. However, a lot of the issues, as we just saw here, are going to relate to individuals here in the United States and what's going on domestically. While Rasmussen typically runs the comparison without much comment, the polling company this week took a shot at the difference between what the media want voters to care about and what voters actually care about. Now, remember what we've always said here on the BuzWeaver channel. You guys who are on the cutting edge know that we have mentioned many times that the media perceives itself as the arbiters of truth. They know what's right. They know what opinion you should have. They know what ideas and thoughts and fashions and goals that you should strive for. So you should listen to them. They have the last word because they are the authorized voices. They have the pedigree. And of course, here on YouTube, they also have priority and priority status over individuals like myself. So again, hit that like button to support the channel, to show the algorithm that you do support conservative commentary and or this level of content. In a tweet about its September survey, Rasmussen said, new updated top voter midterm issues versus top media issues. Rovember, Ukraine winning, FBI raids, Trump indictments, Liz Cheney's fall revenge tour? Nope. Here is how it is ranked in the concerns of voters. So we see here energy policy, obviously, because as you know, the first thing that President Biden did was he eliminated or suspended the energy independence, or our energy independence here in the United States, and got rid of the Keystone Pipeline. Lots of areas to debate there, but we have covered that. Violent crime, which is rising, is very much a concern. Of course, the whole idea here was to defund the police and basically to humiliate the police and turn things around, turn the tables on the police to make them more afraid of trying to take care of dealing with crime and so forth. And I can't even mention what I'm going to say. Some people have said that the police do, so we'll just go on with the list. High gas prices, obviously this is going to affect everyone. Inflation, economy, election integrity, schools, election cheating, illegal immigration, and abortion rights, which of course is going to be a concern. And abortion rights, as we have talked about, is going to be a key critical issue for the Democrats. This is going to be kind of their mainstay. They realize now, particularly after Liz Cheney's huge fall, that people's interest in that sort of area with January 6th and stuff isn't really, it's waning at best. And then, of course, the blowback from the actual FBI raid at Mar-a-Lago was not something that most Americans really thought was a very prudent, wise, but most importantly, a concerning thing for them, as they can see that there are potential areas of concern when it comes to the weaponization of our Department of Justice. But by comparison, it is said that the media are most concerned about these 5 issues: climate change, Ukrainian war, Capitol riot investigations, COVID, and the LGBT issues, which are certainly things that we can discuss, but they certainly aren't affecting everybody's daily life. For example, being able to get to work, to have gas in your car, and the ability to pay for energy, or heating and air and these sorts of things. And of course, crime, being able to function in society without being a victim of a crime. But this is not unusual, because the whole thing behind climate change, or the reason that Joe Biden signed the suspension, or went into the suspension of energy independence, was to appease the 8% of climate militants. So it's not unusual, but you can see here even more information, even more data that we talk about here on the channel, supporting what we have talked about for quite some time, and how the media perceives themselves as the arbiters, as the ones who could tell you what opinions to have, what you should be concerned about, where your focus should be. And in reality, it just doesn't align with everyday people. It isn't kitchen table talk about those issues. Climate change, Ukraine, obviously these things are just kind of side items that people are aware of. But it is kind of unusual for Rasmussen to make a sort of comment, but we're getting to a point now where this is an issue, and it is a concern, because the midterms are coming up, and individuals realize that, hey, I need to be able to get to work. Gas prices maybe have dropped by $1.30, as I covered it also in a short, but it's not significant enough for people to change their minds about the direction of our country, which is unfortunately going in a very bad place. And I just recently saw in Tim Pool's video about the railroad unions might be going on strike, which would be a huge blow, because we already have shortages and problems with trucking. Now imagine if the train, if our train industry, locomotion and distribution, goes into a strike. That's going to be gigantic. So just another confirmation for all of us here on the BuzWeaver channel that what we have talked about now for quite some time is all manifesting. It's all coming here to head for all of us to see. And it is kind of unfortunate that nearly every video has to go directly into demonetization, and I apologize if that it kind of irritates people that I constantly talk about it, but it is very annoying that they do this, because these are just basic issues that we're talking about. There isn't anything here that would be considered off the wall. Plus, I'm reading this off of mainstream legacy media anyway, so I'm not exactly sure why they'd be that concerned. But nonetheless, guys, your support has been absolutely phenomenal. I want to thank you guys so very much for supporting me by doing these videos nearly daily, because it seems like we need to go there. And of course, everyone on Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, and DTube, thank you guys for your continued support. And of course, appearing there on the screen, that would be the channel icon for you guys to click on to subscribe to the channel if you're watching on YouTube, as well as notifications. And I will see you guys in the next video.